Welcome to our unboxing series. Today we're going to be talking about the BabyBuddha 2.0. We'll go through the special features of this pump, what's in the box and how to assemble it, how to use it, and care and cleaning. And by the way, if you haven't ordered your pump through insurance yet, please find us at aceleron.com/order to get your order started today. The BabyBuddha 2.0 has quite a few special features. The first is pretty obvious. It's really small and it has a built-in rechargeable battery, making it very portable for using on the go. They also include a lanyard, which can be removed if you want it to take it off easily. When you are using it on the go, you have the option of the regular flange like most pumps, but they also include massage cushion inserts for you. And you'll see there's also this hygiene cover just to keep, from getting anything on that shield. One of the other cool special features for this pump is this T-connector, which isn't assembled just yet. But you'll notice there's a button in the middle, so you can go between double pumping or single pumping on either side really easily. So this is something you don't see in a lot of pumps, which makes it extra special for BabyBuddha. With the pump itself, BabyBuddha has been well known for their suction patterns. They have made updates to the 2.0 where they have added another mode, so now there are 3 modes. And the first one that we'll talk about a little bit later is going to be the new soft stimulation mode. But they also changed their other 2 modes to reduce some of that suction strength and make it a more comfortable pumping session for more users. And it also has a 2-year warranty on this pump motor. So let's get into assembly. You can see over here is a fully assembled collection kit, and I'm going to go through how to put together from bottom up. When we have our storage bottle here, you'll notice it does have a 5 fluid ounce storage capacity, and as a reminder, that doesn't necessarily need to be your goal every time you're pumping. But when you have this bottle here, it is a wide neck opening, and they do provide 2 nipples in there for use if you're going to feed baby. And you're going to use that in this cap here for a feeding bottle. But if you choose not to use this as a feeding bottle, you take that right out and you have the storage lid. That cap goes right in, and now you can store milk in here. So you have both use case scenarios for it. When we're doing collection, we're going to move from our bottle to this, collection body top here. You want to make sure, like with almost every other pump, you have your duckbill valve. Now the BabyBuddha duckbill valve does have that little handle option there, as well as sort of a little lip or grip on the edge as well. That's going to enter in the center of the circle on the bottom, and you want to make sure it's fully pushed on, and then you're going to put the bottle on there. Once you have that assembled, you're going to move to the top, which is going to be your backflow protector or your diaphragm, and this is what's going to keep your tubing clean. So it's a cup style, it sits in there, it doesn't need to be in any special position really, but the cap itself, that lid does need to go so that tubing faces away from the part that's attaching to your body. So now that we have this fully assembled, let's move into the tubing, because that's one of the extra special features for this pump. It does include 3 pieces of tubing, and all 3 pieces have an adapter on each end. 2 of the pieces of tubing are shorter and 1 is longer. So the longer piece of tubing is going to connect to the pump motor itself, and right on the side is where that goes, connecting in here, and you can connect either side of the end of the tubing. It doesn't matter which one. The other end is going to connect to your T connector. Now the T connector is going to face up. It does have the BabyBuddha logo on the back, so you can see that that's facing up correctly. Just insert that in the bottom, and you may notice there's a gap there. That's okay. The 2 shorter pieces of tubing are going to connect to either side of that T connector. And again, you may notice a gap. When you're doing that, this side is going to go to the back of the collection kit. Now, when I put that tubing in, I don't know if you could hear it, but there was a little click. So when you start pumping and you're fully assembled, you want to make sure you have this set up in the way you actually want to pump. So as I mentioned in the special features, this can move side to side so that you can be single pumping on the left side, pumping both sides at the same time, or double pumping, or single pumping on the right side. So when I assembled it, I moved it over to the right side. I think I want to double pump this time around, so I'm going to move it to the middle. And there are little droplet indicators on there as well to show you exactly where you are for which setting. Other than that, you have your kit ready to go. You decide if you want to use the additional cushion insert. It's up to you. It does change the sizing of it. So this flange here is going to be the 24 millimeter, and with the cushion insert added, it's going to be reduced to 22 millimeters. So when you have that on there, again, you also have the option of that hygiene cover, and the hygiene cover itself just sits right on top. And again, just to keep it clean and from getting anything on there. And that's the full assembly. Before we get into how to use the BabyBuddha, I want to point out that the port for charging is right on the bottom, and then the port for the tubing is on the side. When you first get the pump, the lanyard will not be attached, but it is easy to take on and off, and you can use the adapter here. You can see that there are 4 buttons below the LCD screen. The power button is at the bottom, and it is a quick push to turn the pump on. It will always turn on in the first mode, which is soft stimulation, shown with that 1 wave line. You'll see there's also a timer for how long you've been pumping, an indicator to tell you what level you're on, and a battery life indicator. To change your suction strength in level 1, you can either use the plus and minus on either side, or you can let it increase on its own. It will slowly increase every 45 seconds from level 1 up to the cap of level 6 here. If you decide to change the suction strength with the plus or minus on either side, instead of letting it increase on its own, it will stop the automatic mode, but it will stay in that soft stimulation pattern. If you decide you would like to use a different pattern for stimulation, you're actually going to choose this mode button and press it twice. You'll see that there are now 2 wavy lines on the screen, and this is the typical BabyBuddha stimulation mode, where it has 10 short sucks and then 1 longer suck. In the stimulation mode, that longer suck after those 10 shorter ones is going to be longer in how long it holds the suck, and it will have a higher suction strength. The first 3 levels in this classic stimulation mode now have a reduced suction strength compared to the original BabyBuddha 1.0. Now we start in stimulation in order to get the milk to start. Once your milk has started flowing within about the first minute, you would move over to expression mode. Now expression mode is indicated by the little droplet there. What you're going to do is try to find your highest comfort strength. So we recommend starting at 1 and going up and up and up until it's uncomfortable, and then going back down 1 or 2. If you're using soft stimulation or classic stimulation mode, you have options from 1 through 6 in levels. In an expression mode, you have 1 through 9 for levels. When you are in the classic stimulation mode, remember that that last suck, the 11th pull, is going to be longer and stronger. So just be aware of that as you increase your suction strength. When you finish pumping, you just simply push that power button, and every time you turn it back on, it will always start in that soft stimulation mode, and you can change it as needed. So let's talk about cleaning for the BabyBuddha 2.0. When we talk about cleaning, we typically follow the general guidelines set out by the CDC, and then we also point out fine details from BabyBuddha as well. In general, the CDC recommends to clean your pump collection kit after every pumping session. Now, for any pump, you want to make sure certain parts are not submerged in water or cleaned. So for example, for the BabyBuddha, that includes the lanyard, the plug for charging, the pump motor itself, and the tubing. So the tubing here includes also that T-connector. Now something a little bit different is that this lid or cap that's on the top of that diaphragm also is not cleaned. So these pieces are put to the side, and when we think about cleaning, we're thinking about this collection kit here. We're cleaning after each pumping session, so if you pump twice a day, you're washing this twice a day, and you want to make sure that you are going to fully disassemble everything there. And that includes taking out the duckbill valve with that handy little tab that it has, taking out that diaphragm, the hygiene cover and the cushion insert. Obviously, if you're not using them, you're not cleaning them between each session, but if you did, you include them in this. Now, when we're cleaning, you have the option of the sink or the dishwasher. So if you're cleaning these parts in the sink, you're going to take the parts and put them in a clean, separate bowl from the rest of your food dishes with some warm, soapy water and let them soak for about 5 minutes. Once they've soaked, you can wash them as you normally would, rinse with clear water, and let them air dry. Now when you're doing that, just make sure that you're using a separate bottle brush or sponge, again, from the rest of your food dishes. The other option for cleaning your parts is in the dishwasher. Now again, fully disassemble, store your milk however you choose, but you want to make sure when you put them in the dishwasher, you're only putting them on the top rack. If they go below or fall during the actual dishwasher cycles, it can be too hot down there and warp or damage your parts, so we don't want that to happen. The other recommendation per the CDC is to sanitize your pump parts at least once a day, morning, afternoon, or night, whatever works for you, but there are a few ways to do this. The first option that BabyBuddha gives you is to flash boil the parts for at most 60 seconds. When you put your parts in for the flash boil, they'll already be separated because you washed them after your last pumping session. Get them in the boiling water 60 seconds, and then you take them right out, and they'll air dry fairly quickly. There are a few other choices for sanitizing your pump parts. Whether it is a UV sterilizer, which is a standalone, usually just sits right on your counter. You want to make sure you follow all the guidelines to have the appropriate amount of water and everything for those. You also can use the dishwasher for sanitizing, again, top rack only, and reading the manual for your dishwasher itself and making sure you follow any of those recommendations. And then lastly, you're able to use micro steam bags. Micro steam bags just look like a large sandwich baggie. You put your clean separated parts in there, a little bit of water, and you microwave them to steam the parts, and then they'll air dry, and then you're ready to go for your next day of pumping. Part of why we have this unboxing series is because we truly care about the journey from pregnancy through parenting and even through a return to work. We offer a lot of education and support around this, including this unboxing series, one-on-one live unboxings, and more. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us on our website at aceleron.com for videos, guides, and more resources as needed.